What's going on YouTube? Rockley AC here doing a very special video. I will be doing a sale video on one of my decks. It's actually the Revitalize theme deck. I've had this deck for a couple months now, and since the new ban list came out, I've done a couple tweaks and updated the deck. This deck is very good. It's won several tournaments, tune-ins, Jonin events or top 4 Jonin events, SJCs. Revitalize is a very strong element. It's pretty much, or sorry, not element, theme. It's top tier, and you know, it's very much alive in this format. The reason why I'm selling this is because I don't plan on running this in the future, because I have like 2-3 other decks that I have in mind already set for other tournaments. So I was like, hey, I'm not going to use this deck, so might as well give it out to whoever wants to jump in or want a good competitive deck. So yeah, here's my deck. Hope you guys like it, and stay tuned to the end of the video where I'll tell you the prices on stuff. And if you feel like it's worth it, you know, message me and I'll let you know. But honestly, I think it's a good price for what cards you'll be getting in this deck. So let's start off with the 0 drops. I ran 3 Sasuke Peerless Genius. Main reason is because there's a lot of rush in this format, so Sasuke prevents that from happening and makes sure that you hit your certain drops. I ran 3 Tenten, Endless Arsenal. Since the limiting of Ino is hurts the deck in terms of draw, 10-10 is really crucial just for starting out. At the start of turn, you could discard a card. In that case, draw 1 card, and then if the card was not an Earth card, then you mill the top 3 cards of your deck. So essentially, you're still going to get a draw per turn, and also you could help self-mill yourself out for Revitalize, spontaneous Jutsu stuff. I ran 2 Shiho, mainly for filtering and support. She's great just to be able to switch out cards from the top of your deck, get your Jutsus, get your missions, get your ninjas that you need for consistency. I ran 2 Hinata, because again, rush in this format, it's hard to stop Sasuke solos, so for her, it's great to just get a +3, and she could also be in a team as well. Last drop, I ran 1 Choji from the new set. This Choji is really good because it has Revitalize, and it also gets +1. So I +1/+1 for each battle ward, your opponent's battle ward. So if they're swinging out Sasuke solo, you let that pass. He becomes a 5/0, and you could, you know, team him up with another person next turn. Very good draw. 1 drops, I ran 2 Narutos because I only have 2. But this is basically the replacement of Ino, or before I used to run 3 Ino childhoods and 1 Naruto, but Naruto helps speed up the game. He mills up to 9 cards per turn, so that basically gets your deck pretty thinned out. And he's a very highly wanted card right now, just because of those purposes, and also for like rush decks. So he's really good. I ran 1 out of each of these Inos. This one, of course, because it's limited to 1, gets you so much draw power. If you have mental power 5 or more, you just draw extra cards every single turn. And then this Ino, again, against rush mainly. Tailed Beast is going to be big this format, I believe. So Tailed Beasts have no mental power, so they get -2 combat, which still helps out in the long run, because you have some mental ninjas here. I ran 1 Karen just to help heal, keep my ninjas' effects healthy and valid, or if they're not valid, keep them working. 2 drops, 3 Sheikah, Revitalize. This card is amazing just because 3 support, 4 mental power, and when he's sent out to battle, I could reveal the bottom card of my deck, and if it's Revitalized, I can move it to my hand. Otherwise, I mill the top 3 cards in my deck. So essentially, it's helping you out either way. I mean, you're gonna get those Revitalized cards in the bottom of your deck regardless of you know, cards in here. So you get that card back to your hand, or if not, you could self-mill. You could do that on purpose just to help filter out your deck for spontaneous. Turn 2, I ran 1 Shino. This is just more of a tech just to make sure your spontaneous hits, or if they have a counter to Revitalize, like Deidara 5, what was that, set 24 or something like that, that only does 1 Jutsu, or if they have like a Kazekage in their hand, or some like troubling card for later in the game. He just switches out, basically, when he's put in play, your opponent reveals a hand and you can move 1 card to the bottom of their deck and they have to draw 1. Worst case scenario is that they top deck that same card, but most of the time it doesn't happen, so Shino helps out, tremendously with that aspect. I only ran 1 3-drop, 1 Hinata, mainly because I needed more support ninjas for early game. She has 3 support and she gets rid of a card out of your opponent's hand, so that could be very helpful. Turn 4 is around 2 Asuma, Revitalize, for his effect, and his combat is 6, very powerful. 1 Kurenai just to stop the rush. People are hitting the curves right. Kurenai pretty much prevents that from happening. She saves games and she's very necessary. Turn 5 is around 2 Yamato, Revitalize. He's a user of Spontaneous, and his effect is great. Like during the mission phase, you could reveal your hand. Sorry, not reveal your hand. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you discard 3 or more Earth cards, you could draw a card and discard him, which is essentially going back to the bottom of the deck. But yeah, Yamato is really good for those purposes. Sorry, not them yet. I ran 1 Deidara from TP4, mainly to turn off non-valid effects. If people are running like Shimon, which I run, Kages, anything else that have non-valid effects, he pretty much gives the damage to them when he's put in play or even discarded. So you could turn off many effects, and that could tip the balance towards your favor. Last 6 drops is 2 of the first Hokage. Revitalize, he's basically another user of Spontaneous, and his effect is great too. Onto the missions. 3 student senseis. Again, because Ino is limited to 1, lack of draw power, so student sensei early game is important. You still run 2 Inos, so it's easy to mind transfer, and even if you don't hit Ino, mind transfer is still a very powerful card, just to make people stand by and all that. So student senseis, very cool card. 1 battle reward for 2 is nothing. Next, I ran 3 Sheikah's Decision. Best tutor in the game. With Shikamaru, you could search for your whole curve, and even mental power equal to this. So it's just such a good card, and you could hit your you could draw cards for female. I ran 2 after the battles. It's a good draw power for turn 3. You just gotta be careful. If you discard a Revitalize card, you technically can't draw 3 cards, because it's when you put something, when Revitalize puts something that's not technically really discarded, it's being moved to the bottom of the deck. So you gotta be careful with that. But pretty much not every card in this deck has Revitalize, so you could still draw a lot from that. I ran 2 Self Conversations. It's a counter mission. Of course, you could counter out Warhawks, NVS, Sheikah's Decision, anything that poses a threat in terms of like search or draw. Self Conversation is really powerful. There's gonna be maybe a couple Ninja Alliance decks that you'll need some counter missions on. People that rely a lot on the missions, so it's good overall. I ran 1 Bloodline Selection. It's good just to be able to chump block your ninjas and they become back to the bottom of your deck. This is a card from the new set because all your ninjas and missions you control that don't have Revitalize get Revitalize. And you draw a card when it's put in play, but yeah. When any card is moved to the bottom of your deck, you draw a card. That's what I meant. So Revitalize, you get extra draw power. So it's really good for that. Onto my Jutsus. I ran 2 mind transfers. Didn't really need 3 because Ino's already limited with the users, but mind transfer does its work. It's a very strong card, and you guys know what it does. Next, I ran 2 interrogations from set 27. It's 3 random colors, and every ninja opposing the ninja with less mental power than the user becomes standby. So you could push for these. Shikamaru pretty much pushes all the teams, and if somehow you get Ino, Choji, Shika, mental power 5, that's even more. So this, sorry, oops, my stand. There you go. So yeah, interrogation pushes for standby stuff to happen, and it's very good. I ran 2 bravery again because I feel like the format is still rush. There's a lot of fire lightning decks out there, and then Tail Beast is also very powerful. And some impure resurrections can also rush as well. But yeah, bravery. If the user is blocking, the user gets +5 and cannot receive damage this turn. So this pretty much potentially can OV a team. Depending on the matchup, the blocking, attacking setup. Last 3 Jutsus, of course, spontaneous tree summoning. This is the main card of the deck that makes it tier 1. For those who don't know, I'll read it off to you. If you have 15 or less cards in your deck, you can pay 0 to play this. This also has Revitalize. And a tree user has to use it, so it has to be like a Yamato, First Hokage, a Danzo or something like that. You target one ninja in the battlefield, and the target becomes a standby and cannot be sent out to battle during the next turn. Then, if you have 10 or less cards in your deck, you can move this back to your hand. So the whole point of Revitalize is to mill until you have 10 cards, release spontaneous tree summoning, and if they have no response to it, you basically win the game because you're just popping standby ninjas for battle awards, and they can't be sent out to battle, and then you win the game from there. Last drop really is Giant Eagle. I just ran 1 just to help filter out your cards. It's a good card just because if an effect discards 2 or more cards from your deck, then you could reveal them and move one of them to your hand, and you could discard a card from your hand. So essentially, when you're milling off of Naruto's effect, which is the main cause, then you could help pretty much cycle out which cards go in and out to your discard pile. And Giant Eagle stops pretty much Karen from manipulating your discard pile, so it's really helpful just to keep that up. So yeah, that's the deck for Revitalize. Hope you guys liked it. I know the supers alone in this deck is at least $130. For me, I'm gonna do a starting bid on $100, and I think that's very, very reasonable. That's not even counting the other cards in, like Sheikah's Decision, Mind Transfers, and all that stuff. So $100 for this deck. It's already pretty much tournament ready. It's a very good deck, and sorry, here are 2 other reinforcements that you guys could squad into. It's a very, very powerful deck. Like I said, tier 1. If you guys have any questions, message me, PM me. I'll probably be, what's today? I'll try to upload it today. Today is the 27th, Wednesday. I'll probably have it up till maybe next Wednesday / Friday. So you guys have at least a week to give me your offers, and I'll take the highest bidder. So just PM me, and hope you guys like it, and stay tuned for updates on my latest trade binder and whatnot. But yeah, if you guys have any new cards from set 28, I'll be looking for those foil. I just want to foil out certain cards. So yeah, peace out, YouTube.